Hi, I'm Andrew from American Artisan. Today I'd like to show you my preferred method for cutting a mortise for a mortise and tenon joint. The project I'll be featuring this in is the splayed dovetail stool. You can click a link below to follow along and to see the progress in that project. I'll be using it today to join the handle onto our base. You can see I'll be mortising into the tailboard of my project. You can see if we've taken the time to cut our dovetails by hand. I like to cut my dovetails by hand because it shows the hand of the craftsman. It really adds value to the piece. But when you're cutting a mortise and tenon by hand, there's really, the only way someone can tell that you cut it by hand is if you cut it wrong. I see no extra need to spend that time chopping and chopping when you can just do it just as easily with a router. I have here my router with the correct bit installed. And I've laid out my joint. I've drawn out the outer size of my handle and then the inner size of the mortise that I plan to make. I've set a fence to locate the position of the bit so that it lines up here, and when I do my next piece, because I'm making two of these, I won't have to do all of that layout. I'll just need to mark my start and stop points. I like to have a wide faceplate for this operation. I've installed a plexiglass faceplate so that you can follow along a little more easily at home and see what's happening. I also have a plexiglass fence held in place with some small C-clamps. It might not be as easy to see, but that's what's setting the router so it rides evenly at a precise distance from the edge. You can see I've taken a moment to clamp my work down onto my workpiece, and I've put a sacrificial piece underneath so that as the bit passes through, it'll keep it from chipping out and also keep me from leaving a mark in my bench here. And I needed to clamp it down anyway, so I'm using these clamps as stops along the length so that I won't accidentally make too long a cut. I've set the depth on my router. You can click a description and link below to see the quick tip I did on how to set your router depth. But with all these things in place, let's see how nicely the router makes this cut. So the router made quick work of that. The dust collection system helped pull the waste out so the bit didn't get bogged down. One nice thing about using these clamps as my stops is you can see it took multiple passes for the router to make the cut. That way I always started and stopped at the same point so that my mortise didn't grow with each pass. So you can see that the router leaves rounded edges on our mortise. I'll need to use a mortising chisel and a mallet to square it up. I just press the back of the chisel against the flat, and I like to kind of give myself a little bit of a lead to just get it started before I actually start hammering through. That way I don't get any chip out. So I just sort of define my outer parameters before I go and sink the chisel down with the mallet. I'll locate that in my scribe. I won't go all the way through at once. I'll kind of creep up on it. If I try to get too much at once, the chisel can kind of get wedged in there, and sometimes it kind of wanders off course. By taking smaller bites, we get a more accurate shoulder. There. That looks nice and clean, and that went pretty quickly. So you can see that was a pretty quick way to make a mortise. Follow along to the next video where I'll cut the tenon on the table saw. Thanks for watching this video. Subscribe for more woodworking videos.